I'm not talking about your thoughts or your heartbeat, but something way, way deeper, down at the cellular level. We're about to explore this hidden, bustling, and kind of watery world that exists inside your own body. So let's just dive right in.
All right, first up, a pretty mind-bending fact for you. On average, a full 60% of your body weight is just water. Yeah, over half of you. Just let that sink in for a moment. So that leads to a really good question, doesn't it? If you're basically a walking, talking bag of water, what is it that's stopping you from collapsing into a literal puddle on the floor? Well, the answer is just a masterpiece of biological engineering. See, it all comes down to organization. Your body's inner ocean isn't just one big sloshing pool. Nope, it's neatly and very cleverly separated into two totally distinct realms, the water that's inside your cells and the water that's outside of them.
And check this out, the ratio is kind of wild. A full 2/3 of all that water is actually locked away inside your trillions and trillions of cells. This is what we call the intracellular fluid, or ICF for short. That leaves the other third, the extracellular fluid, or ECF, to be the environment that sort of bathes the outside of all those cells.
And this isn't just a physical divide, you guys. It's a chemical one, and this is so important. Inside your cells, the star player, the main positive ion, is potassium. But outside, in that fluid surrounding them, sodium totally reigns supreme. Now, this difference, this chemical imbalance, is absolutely critical for everything from sending nerve signals to making your muscles contract. So you got to ask, how on earth does the body maintain this separation?
Well, the unsung hero in this whole entire story, it's the cell membrane. It's this microscopic little border wall that creates and maintains these two completely different chemical worlds.
Just look at this diagram here. That incredibly thin outer layer, the cell membrane, is literally all that separates the potassium-rich world inside the cell from the sodium-rich ocean outside of it. It is the ultimate gatekeeper. And this gatekeeper isn't just a simple wall. It's incredibly complex. It's a mix of proteins, cholesterol, carbs, and a special kind of fat called a phospholipid bilayer. Now, this structure has a really clever design. It's got parts that love water, which face the watery environments inside and out, and it's got parts that fear water, which tuck themselves away in the middle to form a barrier. This is what makes it semi-permeable. It's a very selective border that doesn't just let anything and everything pass through. So, if this border is so selective, what are the rules for getting in? How does anything get across? Well, it turns out there are a few key laws that govern all the traffic going across the cell membrane.
Okay, the first rule is osmosis, and this one is all about water. The simplest way to think about it is that water always wants to go where the party's at. It naturally moves from an area that has fewer dissolved particles to an area that has more. It's always trying to dilute the more concentrated side, trying to create a perfect balance. Next up, you've got diffusion. This is the natural tendency for other substances, not just water, to spread out from a crowded area to a less crowded one. Just think about what happens when you spray air freshener in a room. It spreads out, right? It doesn't require any energy, it's just nature trying to find equilibrium.
But hold on a second. Remember that sodium and potassium imbalance we talked about? Diffusion and osmosis are all about creating balance. But to keep our bodies working, we need to maintain that crucial imbalance. So the cell has to fight against that natural flow. And doing that, that's going to take some energy. And this is where the amazing sodium-potassium pump comes in. It's basically a perfect example of active transport. Think of it like a tiny, energy-powered revolving door in the cell membrane. It's constantly working, grabbing 3 sodium ions from inside the cell and forcefully kicking them out. Then it grabs 2 potassium ions from the outside and pulls them in. It works tirelessly, burning energy to keep sodium out and potassium in, making sure your nerves can fire and your muscles can move. It's incredible.
So we've got these 2 different fluids, we've got a smart barrier, and we've got these complex rules for getting across. What's the big deal? Why does any of this microscopic drama matter to you? Well, because your life, quite literally, depends on this delicate balance.
To talk about this balance in a practical way, scientists and doctors use a term called tonicity. And it's actually pretty simple. It's just a way of comparing the concentration of any fluid to the concentration of our own blood. It's kind of like the language of cellular balance.
And there are basically 3 types. An isotonic solution, like the 0.9% saline they use in hospital IVs, has the same concentration as our cells, so it's perfectly safe. A hypotonic solution is less concentrated, which causes water to rush into our cells, making them swell up like a water balloon and potentially even burst. And a hypertonic solution is more concentrated, which pulls water out of our cells, causing them to shrivel up. So yeah, getting this balance right is truly a matter of life and death. And all of this, the pumps, the membranes, the osmosis, the diffusion, it's all working together in service of one huge overarching concept, homeostasis. It's the constant, active, nonstop process of keeping your internal world stable and balanced no matter what's going on outside. It is the fundamental principle of how we all stay alive. Your body performs this incredible symphony of pumps and barriers, of osmosis and diffusion, millions and millions of times every single second, all just to keep you from becoming that puddle on the floor. It's this silent, amazing, life-sustaining balancing act. Which leaves us with one pretty critical final question to ponder. What happens when this delicate, life-sustaining balance is lost?